Good morning, guys, and welcome to our session on Hacks of Cracking Interview. My name is Sumit Motwani, and I'm co-founder of HR Lab. HR Lab is a recruitment consulting firm, and recently we have also started with CA mentorship program. In that we take some sessions on personality development and also boardroom grooming skills. Today we have speaker with us, Tanvi Sawant. Tanvi is a chartered accountant by profession and also pursuing her MBA from IIM Bangalore. Host for the day is Simran Yadav. Guys, hope you like this session. Over to you, Simran.
Thank you, sir. Warm greetings to all of you. So, I am the host of this webinar as told by Sumit sir. So, let's make this Sunday more productive. Today, we have one precious gem with us who will guide us and polish us to clear any interview. Miss Tanvi Sawant. Tanvi has bunch of experiences of cracking interviews. Tanvi has successfully cleared her interview of PwC, Deloitte, Citibank, IIM Bangalore, IIM Indore, and other 8 new IIMs. So, firstly, I would say thank you, Tanvi ma'am, for giving your time and conducting this session for each and every one of us. Here, I have a list of questions which I'll ask you, which are related to questions, which are related to interview, that how to deal with the interview. So, without any further delay, let's begin. So, starting it from the very basic question, in your opinion, what the interviewer looks for in a candidate?
You should ensure that you drop some subtle hints of the presence of these qualities. These qualities meaning that you have a lot of hard work, dedication, you have some leadership skills, you have some initiation qualities. So I will elaborate on these qualities and how do you drop these subtle hints in the course of interview. So to give you a very recent example, right? So when I was giving my summer internship interview in IIM Bangalore, one of the top recruiters, okay, so he had screened almost 15 to 20 candidates on the basis of our CV. So the technical abilities were taken care of. Thereafter, during the interview process, we almost had 3 rounds. And trust me, guys, out of the 3 rounds, almost 80% were questions related to assessing me as a cultural fit. They did not ask me technical questions. They did ask, but they were very few as compared to the level of questions that they asked me on my, on my life, on my qualities, on my experiences. So keep that in mind that your technical abilities are definitely important, but they are not the only thing that matters. So yeah, this is concisely what recruiters look for.
Okay, so this is really beautifully explained by you. I hope you guys are noting it down. So let's proceed towards our next question. Like, this question is very, very basic. Like, every time when we candidate faced a question that how to deal with the mostly commonly asked question, that is, tell me about yourself. So what can we include in that which will create a better image in front of the interviewer?
Right. So again, as Simran rightly said, it's a very commonly asked question because recruiters normally ask this question to break the ice. So how do you start a conversation? It's normally when the recruiter will ask you, tell me something about yourself. So guys, this question does sound very easy, but trust me, it is as difficult as it sounds easy because a lot of participants, hello guys, can you hear me? Hello. Is
Yes,
it
you are audible.
is it only for Ashna or is it for everyone?
No, no, you are audible.
Okay, 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 yeah. So I was saying that recruiters normally ask, "Tell me about yourself," and often the candidates confuse this question with "Tell me something about your professional life." So, guys, you need to note this down that when they are asking about yourself, your professional life definitely is a part of it, but it is not the only thing that you have to consider. Your life consists of more than that. Okay, your life consists of your qualities, your life consists of the major events, your life consists about your academic and extracurricular excellence. So, your tell me about yourself should briefly include all of this. So,
Okay.
to give you a very simple example, if you want, you guys can note this. I have prepared an introduction for myself, And I went through several reiterations, right, before I could crack this introduction for me. So I tried to divide the introduction into three buckets. So I will just give you a demonstration of my introduction. So hi guys, I am Tanvi. I believe in hard work and dedication, which helped me clear my chartered accountancy in first attempt. I like taking initiatives, and I have planned several events in R.A. Podar College, where I did my graduation, and in PwC, where I was doing international tax for a year. I am also associated with the NGO where I spend my free time. Again, I am a firm believer in participative leadership, which helped me win several tournaments in basketball at district level. So, if you see my introduction, it's firstly very short, and the attention span of the recruiter is also very short at the beginning. So you have to engage the recruiter. So if you have like a very big introduction with your CV, you're repeating your CV points that I worked this and I work in this department and I did these assignments, they already have the CV right in front of them. So you have to provide something which is not part of your resume. So I am saying that when you are doing your CV, guys, if possible, if you can ask the questions at the end of the session, we have some time for Q&A. So I'll be able to address them better. Just a request. So yeah, so when I was saying about the CV, so you need to add in your tell me about yourself questions which are, statements which are not there in your CV. Like where if you see my introduction, I have said I want to highlight that I have cleared my CA in first attempt, or I am a CA. So I will, link it with the quality of hard work and commitment. Thereafter, if I'm playing basketball and I was the team leader, I will, I'm demonstrating my leadership skills, and I'm also telling that I am involved in extracurricular activities like playing basketball or showing empathy and compassion through being associated with an NGO. So these are few tips how you should form your how you should form your questions, or how you should form your tell me about yourself bit. So yeah, I think this is about it. If you guys have any more queries, we can tackle it later.
Okay, so you mean to say that it should be very brief and very like we should pick up all such points which are very impressive to the interviewer, right?
Right, exactly right.
Okay, thank you for this. So let's proceed towards our next question. Okay, so that is like I have like it happens with you n number of times since you have a very big experience of cracking interviews. Okay, so should you take time from HR if your interview is scheduled on the same day, like it is necessary?
So, guys, I'm sure that these are all external factors, and these won't be in your control, to 100% probability. But I would suggest, and it's a golden rule, always be prepared for the interview. So, if possible, and if there are other slots available, and if you can make up some, valid reason, it at the first go it should not be like you want to prepare, that is why you're taking some time. This should not typically be the reason, but some valid reason that you're traveling, or you're not in town, or some reasons on those lines wherein you can borrow some time. See, because this is one chance that you will get. Maybe this will be an elimination round, maybe they will not call you after this round. So it's always good to take some time from the HR, depending on how much time you need to prepare. Suppose it's like a field of taxation, I'm sure you won't be able to prepare in a day. You'll minimum require 2 days, considering the amendments, the sections, your CV, your HR questions. So take adequate time, even if that puts an impression of, okay, he's delaying, but I'm sure by preparing, to 100%, you will be able to overcome that image of delay in interview, and, have a very good first impression. So in my opinion, take time if possible. But sometimes if he says that no, these are other candidates are lined up and maybe you will never get a chance again, if it comes to that, then definitely I'm sure you guys don't have a choice and you have to go for that shot. So yeah, this is the simple logic for this question.
Okay, if it is possible, so we should take time from our HR.
Yeah.
So that would be more better, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So my next question is, what are the most commonly asked questions, so that we can get prepared for that, like what, like in case of probability, what would come,
Yeah.
if you could help us, please.
Yeah, sure. So, in my experience, recruiters have these two, three very standard questions. Okay, they are very standard in terms of what they expect from you. So, the first question they ask is normally that they ask is why you want to take up this role or why you want to take up this company, right? So, in my opinion, this is like a very important question from their perspective because they are trying to gauge your interest in that particular role or in that particular company. So you need to be very sure about the answer that you give. You need to spend some time on finding this answer. You need to do some introspection as to why you want to do this role, as to why you want to take up this company. I'm sure that you guys would have several reasons, okay, at top of your head, and you can actually answer this question at the spur of the moment. Okay, if somebody asks me why I want to take up this job, I can come up with n number of reasons. But that's not how you go about the answer. You need to show the recruiter that you have thought about it, and you have thought about it in a very structured way. You know, by a structured way, I mean that your answer should always start by, this line that, following are, so I have thought through this, and following are the three reasons why, two or three or four, how much ever reasons you have, why I would like to join your company or why I would like to join your role. So when you say that these are the three reasons or these are the four reasons, the recruiter immediately gets an image that, okay, this person has thought through it, he has some definite goals in his mind, and he knows why he is here. So this makes the job of the recruiter very easy because he knows that he's a promising candidate. So this is how you start with this kind of a question. Now, what should be the content? Okay, so the content, again, I will give you some examples which you can add, or maybe you can work around it. Some examples of this would be that when they are asking you about the role, right? So suppose if I am taking up a role of, if I give you my example, so I had done taxation, right? So, or some other roles like audit or assurance or any other role that you guys are interested in. And for non-CAs also other type of roles that you would, technology based, whatever type of role it is. Your answers should typically describe the kind of career it is. So
Yes, yes.
basically, you can say that it is a fast track learning career. I will get to learn a lot. I will, it will be an enriching experience. Second can be that it is a very dynamic career. I will get to learn every day, something new will come up. I will get to learn new every day. So it will be changing, so very dynamic. Thirdly, you can say that, I think there will be a lot of, work culture that I will be able to get out of this career. So basically, by here I mean peer-to-peer learning, that you will learn a lot from your peers as well. Again, this is in relation to your work. You can also talk about the mobility. Maybe for a field of taxation, you can do direct tax, you can do indirect tax, you can do litigation. So you can also say that the mobility that this career offers. So these are typically the kind of adjectives or kind of statements that you should use to define the career that you're taking up. Again, for the company, it's very simple. You have to show the recruiter that you have researched about the company, right? You need to show that you have taken interest in understanding their company. So that can be things like, I interacted with the employees, or I read about the leadership of the company, and I found the leadership to be very inspirational. Their career path was very fast and it was not stagnant. And I see that career path for myself. So things like that, where you mention about the culture, the work-life balance, the inclusive culture of the company. So all these things will give you brownie points because the recruiter will know that you have researched thoroughly. So yeah, this is how you can go about these questions. So guys, if you think I'm going fast, you please stop me. I can repeat the points again.
Okay,
Uh,
so like a
yeah, and
candidate should, yeah, yeah.
yeah. And one more commonly, so sorry, I just wanted to add one more commonly
Yeah, yeah,
asked
sure.
question. So one more commonly asked question is, where do you see yourself 5 years down the line or 10 years
Yeah.
down the line, right? So this is also a very favorite. This is a favorite question of the recruiters. So
Yes.
what happens is often candidates answer this question like in a very narrow manner, that they say that maybe 5 years or 10 years down the line I want to be the CEO, or I want to I want to see this. I want to be the CEO, or I want to be the head of department, or I want to be a partner. So guys, I'm sure that you have this ambition, but for the recruiter it seems to be a bit unrealistic or maybe over the top, because 5 years or 10 years, only exceptional cases can reach in those positions. If you're one of them, then good. But I think a safer or a realistic way to go about it is, you can answer this question in this way. So you can note it down again, that I want to be an all-round professional who has gained complete technical knowledge of tax. So if I'm a part of taxation field, then I say I am an all-round professional and I want to gain complete technical knowledge of taxation field. And thereafter, I want to develop my skills of customer centricity, innovation, and leadership. So what do I mean by this? So in case you see in all your companies, right, normally at a manager level or a director level, all have got the requisite technical knowledge for the field, may it be tax, audit, technology, engineering, anything. After the director position, you start to work on your soft skills, right? You are more interested in customer acquisition, you are more interested in maintaining relations with customers and employees and other stakeholders of the company, and you focus less on this technical. This takes a backseat. Definitely you cannot go up the ladder without your technical skills. I mean, that is the basic. But then you start working on the soft skills. So as a leader, I would, yeah, so I'll just repeat this. So you have to divide this answer into two parts. First part is that in 5 years or 10 years, I will be an all-round professional who has gained complete technical knowledge and expertise in the field of taxation or audit, as the case may be. And thereafter, I would like to develop skills of customer centricity, innovation, leadership. So by this, I am dividing it in two parts. First is the journey where I have got required technical knowledge, and the second part is where now I am going towards leadership, where I am looking at customers, where I'm looking at employees, where I'm looking at building clients and gaining more revenue. So those are the soft skills that will come into picture. So this is how you should maybe portray it in front of the recruiter. So this is a safe way. And guys, sometimes you also happen to say that if you are in, suppose if you are in a big four, or if you are in one of the companies, and you happen to say that I want, after 10 years I want to switch to the industry and be be head of taxation there. So I think this is a completely a wrong way to go about it, because the recruiter, suppose, is a big four and it's investing 5 years, 10 years in you. It doesn't make sense that you tell upfront that you will change the career path altogether. So do not make such small mistakes, because they take note of this. So you should align your goals with the career path that the recruiter is offering. That makes your goals and the recruiter's goals aligned. So yeah, these are the commonly asked questions normally.
Okay, so like instead of being fake, we should be more realistic according to you, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So thank you for describing it so beautifully, and I hope everyone is making note of it, because ये हमें कहीं ना कहीं फ्यूचर में बहुत काम आने वाला है. So guys, like let's proceed towards our fifth question, okay, which you already had covered, so no need to keep it very lengthy. Just describe it in 2 or 3 minutes, that will be
Yeah,
enough. Okay,
yeah.
so
Will we,
my
sorry to excuse, will we get the recording of the session?
yes, you will get the recording of our session. Even you can subscribe our YouTube channel as well, that is HR Lab India.
Thank
Okay,
you.
okay, welcome. So Tanvi, my next question is to you is that how do we research about the companies? It is really necessary.
Yeah, so as I mentioned in the earlier question, you need to do some basic research about the company. So that can be from the company website. And And one very important source of knowing about the company are the employees. So you should often use LinkedIn as a mode, and trust me, it's a very effective mode of communication. So be very hands-on with LinkedIn. You can actually connect with the employees, and the employees do get back. They do help you. So try and understand how the interview process is. Some companies focus on technical, some companies focus on HR questions, some companies focus on the principles, the company principles that they have, and some companies have a complete different way, that is a stress interview. So you can be very well prepared for this, and you know that this is somewhere the kind of interview that I am going to face. So you will anticipate the questions accordingly. So make sure that you have all these things in place, that is the company website and the LinkedIn connections through employees. Take time from them and speak to them about the work they do, about the culture, and also about the kind of interviews that they went through. So this will give you an holistic view about your interview. So yeah, I think this is how you go about it.
Okay, so we should connect in LinkedIn with the people of the organization for more research and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Tanvi and everyone. So it's time for a little break. Let's take a break of 5 minutes and then we will be back. And for joining you, like we will be back around 12. So for join the same link in 5 minutes. Thank you everyone and please come back.
Yeah, I think again the room is full. I can start. Okay. So guys, I'll just brief you like why we have kept this session is like I'll tell you it's been now more than a year I have been doing this recruitment thing and we face a lot of problem. People are really very good technically, but they do not get chance to, you know, go through the interview or clear it. So that's why we have kept this session. I'll tell you few examples. Like in last 30 days, we have scheduled around 40 to 50 interviews, but there were 40 rejections just because of few things or few examples which Tanvi has quoted us. So it is very important. Like people not only see you technically, they see various kind of things. So you should obviously prepare for these things as well. And apart from this interview point of thing, uh, your CV is also equally important. So like we receive hundreds of CV for a particular opening. So I'll tell you that for a opening related to a statutory audit, we receive 100, 200, 300 CVs, but we shortlist only 20 to 30 CVs. So you should focus on your resume building. Once your resume is prepared, then you should start preparing with your interview skills. So probably we will keep one more session related to, your resume building thing. So I think you should note it down these points. These are really very helpful. Like we go through the accounting standards, all the technical stuff, but let's focus on these questions like where do you see yourself? Uh, what kind of questions are asked by recruiters? So let's begin again. And over to you, Simran.
Okay. So I would like to add on, guys, just make a note of it and make a highlight points as well. So that will help you all. So shall we proceed, Tanvi, with our further questions? Okay, so my question is to you. How should you tackle with the questions like strength and weakness or questions based on qualities?
Right. So this is again, am I audible?
Yeah, you are
Yeah,
audible.
yeah. So again, this is a very commonly asked question. So first I will tackle with the strengths part. Okay. So for the strengths part, you should highlight the best part of your personality. Again, a suggestion to please keep it non-technical, because your technical strengths are a part of your CV. So by non-technical strengths, what do I mean? Often qualities like empathy, leadership skills, innovation, initiation, compassion. All these are qualities that the employers are looking for. So always use these qualities. But guys, there is one caveat to this. When you are using these qualities, make sure that you have a substantial example to justify these qualities. So, for example, if I say that yeah, one of my strengths, one of I think someone's not on mute.
Guys, please mute yourselves.
Yeah. So one of the strengths that I have is that I demonstrate leadership skills. Immediately, the follow-up question to this is, give me an example where you have demonstrated leadership skills. So I should be ready with an example, because if you do not have an example, then entire credibility goes away. And even if you think maybe for a second, for 2 seconds, it shows that you are not actually prepared, and you just quoted this for the sake of it, for the sake of emphasis, but you do not have something to back up to it. So you should always be prepared with an example of maybe leadership. So I was leading some events. When I talk about empathy, I was in a position to understand the customers pain points, and without them coming to me, I could deliver whatever they required. So such examples, very specific and detailed examples, will add to your credibility, and it will look as if these are authentic examples. So do prepare I think like 2 or 3 qualities are more than enough, and some examples which you can quote along with these qualities. So this is for the strengths part. Now for the weakness part. So guys, some candidates say that I do not have any weakness, okay, which is really unrealistic. We are, there is no Superman here. All of us have some weaknesses. But because, candidates often say this because they do not want to show themselves in a negative light, right? So what do you do when you do not want to show yourself in a negative light? So one trick here is that you say that this is your weakness, but you have found some way to overcome it. So I think by an example, this statement will be more clear. So when someone asked me about my weakness, I said that in my earlier job, I used to tend to overthink a lot about petty issues, which actually did not make sense in the bigger picture. So in my next job experience, I tried consciously to not think about such petty things and look at the bigger picture. So, I found a way to overcome it as I moved to the next job. So this definitely shows that, okay, I had a weakness, but again, it puts you in a positive light wherein you are saying that I have overcome it. One more weakness that I can think for CA specifically is that we have a lot of on-the-job technical reading. We keep reading apps, we keep reading accounting standards and stuff like that. So we sometimes, tend to forget about non-technical reading. Maybe reading a magazine, like The Economist, or reading a novel, reading good books. So sometimes you can even put this as a weakness, that because of my job, I had lost time for non-technical reading, but now I have ensured that in a month I will at least try to read one book. So in this way, you are telling the recruiter that, look, I have a weakness, but these are the ways that I have, tried to overcome it. So the recruiter also knows that, okay, she has found some ways to overcome it, and she finds solutions to her problems. So this is the way you put your weakness also in a positive light. So I hope this was useful to you guys. So we can, yeah. So this is about strengths and weaknesses.
Okay, so like instead of hiding our weaknesses, we should tell with our overcome tricks and hacks, right?
Yes,
Okay,
exactly.
okay. So I hope everyone has understood. So let's proceed towards our next question. Okay, so how to go about if you do not know the answer of technical skills? It happens a number of times, like we have no idea how to deal with such things. So what can we do which will build a nice impression over interviewer?
Right. So again, guys, this is a very strict rule and a very golden rule. Do not bluff. Okay. Do not bluff, and do not go around the bush. The recruiter is maybe, even if he's a manager, he has good 5 to 6 years of experience, and he has taken n number of interviews. So the moment you start bluffing, he comes to know, and the impression, your entire credibility goes away at that very moment. Because see, they are taking they are employing you for a long term, so they don't want, if you can bluff right now, it creates an impression that this person can bluff anytime. So make sure that you do not beat around the bush. There is one way to go about this. Suppose they ask you about a section, or I'm just giving an example. They ask you about some section, or they ask you about some technical question where you broadly know something, but you're not exactly sure about the answer. So you can maybe take a guess, and you can maybe say that, sir, I am actually not completely aware, but I would like to take an educated guess. I would like to guess, or I would vividly like to talk about this as, and I can get back to you on the details. So this gives the recruiter an impression that हाँ भाई ये बंदी को इतना पता है कि इसमें क्या क्या आता है, but she doesn't know the specific answer. But okay, if you start bluffing that हाँ, so this section talks about this and that, and it's completely wrong, and you bluff it confidently, it really, it's a turn off for the recruiters. So avoid doing that. If you do not know, then just say that, sir, actually, honestly, I'm not aware, or I would like to take an educated guess. This is the safest way to go about technical questions. Guys, you cannot say that about HR questions, because those questions are related to yourself. Those questions are related to your life. Those questions are related to your background. So you cannot say that I'm not aware of this. You have to make some sense out of it. That is why it's more important to prepare HR questions than technical questions, right? So yeah, this is how you would go about
Okay,
it.
so presence of mind is mainly required. And
Right.
yes, I totally agreed with you. And now each and everyone are aware how to deal with such situations. So now let's proceed towards our next question. What question should you ask when interviewer asks you, give an opportunity? So what we can ask to him
So,
or her?
just to elaborate on that question, normally at the end of the interview, often, to start a conversation, the recruiters will tell you that, do you have any question in mind? Do you want to ask something? So, I would suggest that always take advantage of this opportunity that is given to you. Do not say that I don't have any questions. I would say prepare for some questions already in your head before you go for the interview, because this creates an impression that, oh, maybe he's not interested, or maybe he doesn't have presence of mind, or
Yes.
maybe he has other opportunities in his head, so he's not for this interview. So always take advantage, even if you are interested or not interested. So I would give you some examples, when you can ask these type of questions to the recruiter. One could be, considering the current situation we all are in. So, it's a very relevant question to ask to the recruiter, that how was the company impacted due to COVID, or how were the employees impacted, and what steps did you take? Have you recovered? What was your backup plan? Was there a business continuity plan in place? How did you tackle with this issue? So these are some examples of the current scenario. Again, one more way where you can engage a conversation is, suppose there is some technical question or some link to a question. Suppose you said that, okay, I like watching cricket, or some, just like a conversation starter which has happened in your interview before this question. Maybe you can take some link of that. Maybe you could say, sir, actually, I was not aware of what you mentioned earlier. Could you elaborate on that further? Or maybe you could ask them questions on what is the latest technology that they use. How do they see that the technology will be replacing employees? How is automation playing a part in their company? So all these are relevant questions, and trust me, recruiters love to answer this, because not many people ask them questions, again. So you have to take advantage, and you have to build a conversation. So this shows that you will fit in the team. You will engage with the team right from the word go. So always take a question back to the recruiter. Yeah, so this
Okay,
is how
so
you'll go about it.
yeah, that will build a good image in front of interviewer.
Yeah.
Okay. So last but not the least, I would like to ask you, like, any other tip in general, including dressing etiquettes, or if you want to add anything.
Yeah, so to begin with dressing etiquette, I think all of you guys would be, well groomed. But just a few, I mean, for the sake of repetition, I'm sure you guys know this, but just for the sake of repetition and completeness, for a male candidate, a dark colored trouser and a light colored shirt, and try to match the belt and your shoes. They should be typically of the same color, and your socks should match your trousers. The color of your socks should match your trousers. So these are some basic fundamentals that you should not go wrong with. For a female candidate, it can be Western formals or Indian formals. In Western formals, again for females, try to match your belt and your handbag, and your shoes should often be closed, and it should not be open toes. Your toes should not be seen. Indian formals, a kurti or a dress or a sari, anything that you are comfortable with is fine. For a dressing sense, I feel since it's the first impression, if you get it right, it's fine. But if you do not get it right, it's a turn off. So it's something that is very obvious and you should not go wrong with it. So do not wear loud colors and colors that really are not formal. So yeah, I think that can be a good way to start off. And guys, I think for the other tips, as for me, how I used to plan for my interviews, I used to do a lot of homework, right? So if I have an interview, say 2 days later, I used to start from today itself. I used to have my introduction ready. From the introduction itself, I used to see which are the questions that the recruiter might ask, and I'm anticipating them well in advance. So if I'm talking about that I work in PwC for international tax, I'm sure that I will get questions about taxation, amendments, sections. So I cannot say that I do not know about it. I have to be prepared. So I will take these 2 days to prepare for that, right? Again, the buckets that you're using in your introduction, they will lead your interview. So you are the only one who will drive your interview. So make sure that the buckets that you're using in your introduction are your strengths. Anything that they ask about it, you should know it all. So you will be leading your interview. Apart from that, I guess, guys, you have to be very, very confident. Okay, trust me, that as much as you need them, they need you too. So you have to portray that you're the best candidate that they can get. And often, I have seen, like, even for myself or the candidates, when there is a stress interview, we often tend to lose our smile. We become all nervous if we do not know one question, and we are like, I'm just done with this interview. I have gone, I have performed very badly. Now there is no point of continuing the interview. But trust me, sometimes they're only seeing the perseverance and your way of dealing with stress, your way of dealing with pressure. So even if you're not able to answer 2 questions, 3 questions, but by the end of the interview also you are smiling, you're very confident, you are very, enthusiastic, it is a very good sign. But some people give up midway, which is absolutely wrong. You should fight till the end of the interview, till the last minute. Ask the questions to the recruiters, make it engaging, make it a light atmosphere, and make it pleasant. I think these tips will really help you crack the interviews. So yeah, that's all from my side.
Thank you, Tanvi. This was really very helpful for us. So, guys, I'll just repeat my some of very important points by Tanvi. So, how much you want the job? So that is even interviewer wants you. So it is a very difficult process for interviewer as well to get a right candidate. So this is a tough job for him as well, right? So during this pandemic scenario, it is if you're getting an opportunity to give an interview, so just make full out of it. I think everyone has noted down these points, and also we will upload this video on YouTube, and you can subscribe our channel HR Lab on YouTube, and you can follow our page on LinkedIn. We have we keep posting our jobs, and on daily basis, like we post more than 10 jobs on our LinkedIn page. So you can just follow that, subscribe that page, and you can just ping me in person, like in all the 3 groups. You can find me as an admin of the group, and you can ping me in person, like what all problems you actually face, so that we can keep the next session regarding that thing, and you can suggest us what all sessions we should keep in future. Like we have some topics upcoming in future, like life of a CA in a particular country like Australia or a Canada. Like we have some guest upcoming in next sessions. So let's take a Q&A round for next 5 minutes. So do you have any question, guys?
Guys, can you raise your hand so that we know
Like
who has a question?
Yeah, you can write it in the chat box as well, and Tanvi will answer your questions.
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah, hi Yash.
Ma'am, I wanted to ask, as you mentioned some qualities and skills that one should have, what are the ways that we can develop those skills? Since now we have much time to face interviews, what are the few things we can do to
Okay.
brush up our skills?
So by skills, so I think this would actually, this resume building thing can be actually a different session altogether. But maybe to just give you a brief thing, so maybe you can, I don't know how much it is possible, you can be a part of some events, you can maybe lead those events, maybe you can take up some course, maybe you can join some NGO. So all these will help you to demonstrate that you have these skills, and these are the examples that you can show. So it's actually a lengthy process, it cannot happen overnight, you have to give some amount of time, maybe 6 months or a year, to develop these skills. So if you start from now, maybe within 6 months or 3 months, depending on what kind of a skill you want to demonstrate in your CV and to the recruiter, we can help you with that.
Hello.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, I think there are a couple of questions.
Hello.
Yeah,
I have
yeah.
a question like my experience is lesser. Like I am having experience of 1.3 years, so I have to apply for a job which requires experience of 2 years. So many times it happens that the recruiters are having more expectations from me. So this leads to rejection for the interview. So what could be done for this?
So for there, this is like a technical requirement from that their side, right? So we cannot push them if they want a 2 years experience. Maybe you can show through your CV and your work ex that you have done a lot and your knowledge is as equivalent to a 2 years work ex person. But about beyond that, I don't think they, if it's a very big conglomerate company or a MNC, they normally do not. Go about tweaking that unless you're very exceptional. So I'm not sure exactly if we could help you with that.
We have one more
Okay.
question in our chat
Yeah.
box, which is how to answer multiple attempts. So I'll answer these questions because I have some experience. Like I have seen people answering this question very smartly. So if you have multiple attempts, you can tell the recruiter that for an example, during those attempt period, like have you done some work, what have you, so probably you can tell that you have, as a semi qualified, you have worked somewhere and gained a good experience. And apart from this, you can also tell that you have scored some exemptions in your exams. Like probably you must have taken 2 attempts or 3 attempts, but you must have secured in exemption in accounts or maybe auditing or some of these subjects. So you can just bang on those things and you can say, yeah, I have taken one more attempt, but yes, second time when I came back with an exemption. So don't pity yourself and say that I had some personal reasons, I had some family issues. So recruiter never listens to all these things. For your attempts, you can give your like you can just say that 3 months I have worked for this company, at this did this in-days course, accounting course. So just count on your merits instead of making interviewer sympathize you for something or some bad thing happened with you. So yeah, this was the question which I answered.
And there
uh,
were two more questions which I found I think I should answer. One is, if they ask you questions about expected salary. So this is again a question where a lot of people, sometimes give a very upfront answer. Sometimes they are like, anything is fine. So to be safe around this answer, you should always say that there is always a range, right? So suppose if I am getting recruited as a manager, so normally the range is between 18 to 22 lakhs. So you can say that, ma'am, I'm expecting somewhere in the range of, say, the range can be big also. Okay, if you're not very sure of the company, or you don't want to let go of the opportunity because of the salary, you can mention a range. Say, suppose from 16 to 20 lakhs is something that I am expecting, but ma'am, this is negotiable. Salary would not be the only criteria for me to come for this job. So this is negotiable from my end. So this, will tell the recruiter that, okay, she's open for negotiation. So even if they want to make 15, they will give you a call and say, Tanvi, we cannot offer you the range that you wanted, but we can offer you 15. So then you have to make a decision whether you're okay with that or no. But they will come back to you. But the moment you will say, ma'am, I'm expecting 18 lakhs, and then it becomes very difficult for them also to satisfy your expectations, right? So always say that we are open for negotiation. This is the best way to go about a question on salary. And one more question that I found earlier was that suppose one organization, so you obviously do not, it's not like a one-to-one thing. When you are interviewing with one organization, you also have other organizations in place, and even they have other interviewees in place. So it is many to many. So when you are if somebody asks you, I don't normally think people ask, but sometimes they might ask that, which other organizations are you interviewing with. So you should, I think, be honest about this, because suppose, in my experience, it might so happen that these companies, the top leaders, right, they are all interconnected. So if it's at a higher level, I mean, at a junior level, it wouldn't make a difference. But if you lie at a higher level that, okay, I'm not interviewing anywhere else, there might be a chance that they are of the similar network, and in talks they might happen to mention, or somewhere on your LinkedIn profile it has been shown, or somewhere they come to know. So then it completely turns off. So it's better to be honest, but you can give them reasons that, yeah, I have interviewed in XYZ organization, but I am not very keen on taking up that job because I feel your organization is much better in terms of the learning experience, the work life balance that I will get. So this is how you should tackle with such questions.
We have one more question over here. That is like the candidate has been passed out from the month of January 20 but has not secured job till yet. So how should he face this question? So I'll just answer this question that even recruiter knows this scenario of pandemic upcoming from the month of March. So that's not the trouble or pinpoint. You can just focus on that this was the pandemic situation due to which you could not secure the job, but all these things you have done during this 7 months. So we have one of the clients with us associated with HR Lab, and it's a top 10 CA firm. So even they ask this question like, what have you done in last 7 months? Like they ask this question to freshers. So they expect that fresher must have learned some skill, have done some course related to that job. So yeah, so you should answer this way like you should start with the pandemic scenario, and you should also mention that yeah, though it was a pandemic scenario, but you have done all these courses related to Excel trainings, Word, PowerPoint, everything. So uh, yeah, so this is question. And Tanvi, do you want to
Guys, yeah, so I think because of lack of time, maybe I'm not sure if this is possible. You can post your questions in the WhatsApp
watch?
group.
Yeah,
Yeah, and maybe I can answer from there.
okay,
If there are some very pressing questions, I think there are a couple of them, so I don't want them, to
yeah,
go without an answer. So maybe you can post the question in the WhatsApp group that you are a part of, and I will
okay,
reach out to you guys. Yeah.
okay, guys. Thank you, Tanvi. Thanks for your time, and thank you everyone for joining in this session. This was very insightful for all of us, and let's keep learning and do these kind of sessions. And you can ping me on WhatsApp. I'm the group admin in all the 3 WhatsApp groups. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you guys. It was lovely
Okay,
interacting
so
with all of you
sorry
all.
to interrupt, but at last I would like to say a big thanks to Tanvi for such a fruitful session. Like we had learned a lot. Being an MBA student, I have learned a lot. And apart from that, I would like to say thank you each and everyone who has joined this amazing session. Stay safe and stay healthy, and yeah, keep following us on LinkedIn and also subscribe our YouTube channel. We will share the links on WhatsApp groups.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks. Jinesh, you can end it.